And welcome back. Now, President William Ruto today took to X Space to explain his government's agenda for the youth. Now, the space offered a raw and candid engagement between the president and the Kenyan youth, otherwise known as Gen Zs, with many raising concern how the Ruto government handled the recent anti-finance bill protest. KTN's Noah Kipkemboi reports.
I have the benefit of more information in my hands.
The first engagement between Kenya's head of state and Kenyans on X Space, where live audio conversations are domiciled on social media platform X, did not start smoothly, with technical issues hitting the president's team.
Yeah. Invite cost.
It's still muted.
In an X Space that was supposed to be hosted by President William Ruto, soon shifted to social media influencer Osama Otero, and off the discussions began, with the president's empathy and honesty being put to question.
Haunanga huruma. You are not empathetic. Nini kitu imekasirisha watu wengi, Mr. President?
I think you grew up in a very authoritarian family that you expect people just to dance to your tune.
Most of the people have said is that your government is full of lies.
But the president did not hesitate to defend himself, further acknowledging that he might be different in empathy display based on his upbringing.
If you can send me the details of what happened, I will be able to take action, because you don't deserve the kind of treatment that you went through. Let me also say the following. You have talked about empathy. Maybe, people are born differently. Maybe we empathize in different ways.
Soon, the emotive issue of anti-finance bill protests, spearheaded by the Gen Z, came up, with many youths telling the president that government response was unprovoked and beyond forceful, leading to loss of lives.
We were not booked in any single police station. We were taken in a certain house. I think it was a safe house or something. I was blindfolded. Some guys were blindfolded for like 12 hours. Surely, Mr. President, are we in a terrorist country?
You might say that the police body is independent, but this is not a democracy. It is not functioning like a democracy, but a dictatorship, Mr. William Ruto.
In a typical president's way, he responded by noting that the protests were infiltrated by bad players, blaming the Human Rights Commission for exaggerating the numbers of deaths.
There are people who infiltrated. I am very sure that the people who banned the office of the Chief Justice, the people who banned Parliament, are not the peaceful protesters.
The question of corruption and display of illogical opulence by key members of President Ruto's administration also came up strongly.
Recently, there was a scandal, with the fertilizer, and the CS was, impeached, or a motion was tabled in the National Assembly by a member of Parliament for him to be impeached. But what happened later is that, the same members of Parliament from your political party, the UDO party, went ahead and saved this particular cabinet secretary. What does that speak, to your stand regarding corruption?
If there are verified allegations of corruption against any cabinet minister or any principal secretary, the day they are taken to court, I will fire them. I will not wait for the court process, because there will be an element of confirmation that these are people who are corrupt.
Whereas Kenyans were expecting a different side of President William Ruto, he managed to maintain his approach to public discourse, doubling down on his policies and how he believes is changing the country for the better.